Hello, everybody. This is Roger Hanson. Welcome back to another live stream with Roger Hanson. That's me. I have with me Karma Love, and today I am on the topic of storytelling. The storyteller, basically. Last week, um, I left off with finishing up on the plot to my or not, yeah, it was last week, on the finishing up on the plot to my story as well as the outline. I also went into the descriptions or the character sheets that I had for them, and some of the characters, and I did, or all the characters at this point, and I did them. Now, before I continue, I do want to say that a lot of people who do plots, they don't really believe in doing sheets, and because a lot of people like to write stories that are character based, and people who do plots don't usually do that. And then that was kind of one thing I wanted to incorporate into it too, having a plot but also having characters that are in the story that are character based too. So that's something I almost completely forgot to mention until I went through it today and realized that I forgot to mention that. So I went through and I did the characters. I did the descriptions. I still want to go through a couple things though. On the planes of existence that I had in my story, I want to kind of go over that because there's some things that I didn't go over, and after I want to do that, I want to cover Ob2, the Draco that I have in my story at this point. Kind of let you know a little bit about him and stuff like that. So, with that being said, I wanted to go in and talk about the planes. I talked about freaking the higher heavens of Lycia, but there's still the Protean planes and the cardinal planes that I wanted to talk about. Okay, so, and then after that, I can start reading my story to you. Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
Okay.
SpongeBob.
Okay. Now on the Protean plane, each cycle, the people of Protean, they measure the rotation of the stars around the planet, and they around their planets. And
Is that a low plane or a higher plane?
uh,
Which one is the
the
Palladium?
Protean planet, the Protean is the one just below the higher heavens, I believe.
Okay.
And I can pull that note up here in a minute. But what they do is they uh, they measure the rotation of the stars around their planets, and they coordinate with one another in order to create a structural method of time among each of the planets within that plane. Now, this is the one just below the higher heavens. So after you leave the higher heavens, you go into the Protean planes, and this plane, interstellar travel depends on them coordinating with one another and creating that structured method of time. All
How are
right,
they coordinating? Are they doing it through telepath or
they're
telepathy?
they're doing
Or
it
are
through
they?
the basic traditional astronomy, measuring the time it takes for the planet to rotate around their sun, which is basically a star, and how that coordinates with the other solar systems in their systems or in their area. So they're basically structuring everything according to not only their rotation around their sun, but also their solar system around their galaxies and so forth. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why they do that is because interstellar travel depends on that, and they have to regulate what time frames travelers would encounter as they reach each galaxy and solar system and places where they venture to. Um, Mathematics and mapping out known regions of space is important to those uh, in what I created called the Trade Federation. Um, and in order to negotiate and navigate areas of each quadrant, uh, they have they have to be able to explore and map it properly. You know what I mean? So vast areas of
I
space,
think so. You're saying that they have to know where they're going, like pretty much just like in general, right?
right? Because
Yeah.
they're a trade federation, and it's all about trade for them. So in order for them to freaking be able to get shipments from point A to point B, they have to know everything about how long it's going to take and time and space, stuff like that. Yeah,
Hmm.
and they have to
The
know how to.
Trade Federation. That
Yeah,
means they focus their attention on being able to get stuff like between different planes, or is it different
everything.
civilization? Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
they can travel between the planes of existence too, as well as within their own plane. And within their own plane, there's different freaking realms, different you know, different solar systems, different everything. You know what I mean? So they have their own setup there within their plane, but they also know how to travel to different planes of existence as well.
Hmm.
So now, vast areas of space within Protean are also occupied by the Draconians. All right. Um, now,
Are the Draconians parallel to like the Drake? You know, the Draconians, like not the real ones. Like,
no,
are they
Draconians are basically a reptilian species.
right?
They're 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 of their own reptilian kind, and
Yeah, the reptilians, and they're their own, like you said, their own species, and but they're real draconians, that walk among us. That's what I'm saying. Like, are the ones in your story, they use the same name, so is it the same type of, what
now
I mean, practices, or
I left
because I
the
know you
name
said the
I left the
draconians
name
were.
Draconian and Draco for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I,
okay, I see
I
what you're
like
saying.
to say it like that. And also, I want to incorporate the ufology into my story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember
But
you telling me that, like, one of the first ones.
yeah, I do want to kind of sink it in there. But there's other aspects that I have in there too, like our ancient history that we talk about, things like that. That would be good to incorporate into it. And I'm wanting to do that as well. And then, like, I like doing role playing games, so I want to incorporate that kind of stuff into it as well. Because the Draconians, believe it or not, go really good with Forgotten Realms. The reptilians they have in there are pretty good. And I have my suspicion that a lot of ufologists play Forgotten Realms, and that's where they get their ideas from.
Hmm.
You know,
That's an interest. That's an interesting concept to look into, and maybe ask. Do you see some streamers? Are you familiar with some streamers that do that? Or because I was
yeah.
about to say, if that's the also look, that would be a way to have another interview. You could ask them. You know what I mean? Like, just if you could get them to respond to you, you'd be able to ask them their reasons for, or or even just to make it as specific as, is that the reason? And then perhaps that could, you know what I mean, result into some new
Well, see,
experience. My
the
God.
Trade Federation is something that ufologists have believed in a long time. They believe that there is a Trade Federation that's in outer space, and the Trade Federation is set up by Vega constellation.
Vega constellation. Okay. Hold
And
on one second, because I want to note that. Well, you don't
Vega,
have to hold on. Keep talking.
that's where I got a lot of my ideas about the Federation.
Vega.
And now, the Federation in my story, they found a healthy bit of wealth through trading with the Draconians. Now, according to regulation, though, the Federation condemns the practice of trading with the Draco, but but members of this trade consortium, they've done a lot of shady dealings with the Draconians in secret, and they've done it for some time. Now, most of the members with the Federation look the other way. You know, they turn a blind eye to what's going on the black market. So you got the Trade Federation, and then you have illegal trades going on with the Draco, which creates a black market.
Can I
And
ask you a question? You said that the Vega is a constellation, or is it just a star?
Vega is just look at. Here, I can probably find it for you. This Vega constellation.
I'm just looking because it says here Vega is the brightest star in the northern constellation of Lyra or Lyra. Lyra? Am I pronouncing it?
Yeah, Vera.
And I was just no, it's Lyra. So I don't see any Vera. I see
The summer
Lyra.
triangle is an astronomical asteroom of the northern celestial hemisphere. The defining verticals of the imaginary triangle area at Alter Denebs
Well, I
and
can see it.
Vega. Okay, yeah, so that would be the area.
No. I was just saying the triangle that you were referring
Each
to.
of which
I
is the
couldn't
brightest
notice it.
star of its constellation. Aquila, Cygnus, Lyra, yeah, and Lyra respectfully, yeah. It's the summer triangle.
And they say this is where the Trading Federation is to be.
Yeah,
Supposedly. Okie dokie.
yeah.
Okay. I have to mute
So,
for a second. I'm going to drop off, but I'm listening and I will ask questions as I have to.
yeah, it's the brightest star in the northern constellation of Lyra. That's probably where I came up with the idea for Lycia too, was Lyra. I like to do that.
Yeah, it would make sense if that was the reason, just because it parallels. I thought that was one of when I read it, when I was reading it to myself. I thought that was one of the names in the story, and I was like, no, it's Lycia. And yeah, so you just said it for me. Go ahead.
Lycia. I
Yeah, Lycia. I know now with you, but I mean that's what I was doing when I was attempting to think about where I like if it was the same thing.
Now see, in Protean, slavers and space pirates are known throughout the quadrants. Most illegal drug trades are done by warlords and pirates from the outer regions of these quadrants, distant from like civilized societies that are within the center of it. Now, these outer regions are commonly referred to as the wastelands, and this is where buying and selling slaves is mostly taking place, and it's a normal practice in Protean, and all of the citizens in this realm believe in it.
What was the name of this plane?
It's called the Protean plane.
It's the same one. The
Yeah,
same way
this.
where the same place the Trade Federation is at? Oh, okie
Yes.
dokie. I thought it was something different.
Yeah. All of this is taking place within the same area, within the same
Okay.
plane of existence.
All right.
Now remember what I told you. This isn't a fairy tale or anything like this. This story is basically about as brutal and as it can get. Because
Oh yeah.
and I wanted to do that because a lot of people when it comes to aliens and stuff like that, they like to get all hokey about it and say that aliens are like loving and they just want to help us. And for me, from my standpoint and how I perceive it is, I don't believe that that's. I think that's what humans want. You know what I'm saying?
You feel as though that humans would like aliens to be friendly, but they're not really.
I don't believe it's a matter of being friendly or being aggressive. Or I just think that it's natural things. Like you can look at the things around you and you can pretty much see how things really are. First of all, okay, look at Earth, and then look at the planets that we already know.
Mhm.
What is it that Earth has that all these planets we've already observed doesn't have?
Oh, it'll be Batman.
You see what I mean?
You mean, but I mean, there's a lot because wait, because we can breathe, right? But I guess technically, if you're indigenous to your planet, you'd be able to breathe within its
Well, no,
atmosphere
I
as well.
mean, look at what we've got. That all these planets that we've already observed and we know about. What do we have that they don't have?
Greenland, water, I don't know. And that's not
Resources.
typical. That's
We
because we built those resources. That's
we have
different.
we have life, not just human life. We've got life. We got all these different animals with different life forms. We got vegetation. You
So
know
no planet has life besides us, or has no planet been reported of
that we
having a
know
life
of.
besides us?
That we know of. Okay, that's what I'm going off of. That's what that we know of. There is no planet that we've finally been able to observe that has it. It's not saying it's not there, because if I
She's
believe
saying
that,
that it has yet to be.
then I wouldn't be writing the story if I believe that. You know what I mean? But
Right.
what I'm saying is, if you put all that into perspective, and then you look at freaking what an alien life form would really be about, they aren't going to be these freaking grandiose, freaking great beings that just are all about love and tenderness. You know what I'm saying?
What if they live under what if they live underground? What if they live, you know what I mean? Or like in like dunes. What if they're so advanced they see us coming before we come and they're watching us from the distance? I'm just
That's
saying.
that's one aspect. That's exactly why I want to add that into my story. You know what I'm saying? I've got parts of the story where freaking these societies live down under the ground, and the reason why they live down under the ground is because the surface of the planet is so inhospitable that they can't survive there.
So that's why they live in. See, that's what I mean.
See what I mean?
Yeah, but you already knew that. I was thinking
And
I'm telling you something new.
like the only reason why I see an alien coming to Earth is to exploit our resources.
What resources do we have over people that can live in underground dunes and
We
see
have
us?
we have freaking water.
What if you're okay? So what's water to a well type thing? If you don't really, what are they like? They don't care about the land or what, you know what I mean? Like they're anti the land, but they're still here and they coincide. What if that's not it? Like
What
honestly,
if it is? You know,
you're
I
right
mean,
though.
what if it is? You know, I mean,
You think they come to Earth to exploit, or what type of resources do you feel like they require
it
that they're taking back to their planet?
it all
What
depends on what the Federation wants. If
freaking Tesla? Are you kidding me?
No,
No, I doubt it.
it's what the Federation wants. According to my story, it's what the Federation wants. If the Federation comes in and they need resources, then they will come in and they will exploit that planet for the resources that are available to them.
So is this okay? Now what's happening? How they're telling people about how there's aliens now? Is that what's happening? And are we finding out about these
Well,
aliens
that's in
because
another one. I'm just telling my story.
I got you. Stay tuned.
We could talk about
Man.
that on another day.
Like 2 Mondays from now, 2 Mondays from now. Yeah, okay, okay. All right. Go ahead. I'm gonna mute. I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm listening.
So now I actually deserve that because I really shouldn't have gotten too far in depth. now,
See?
buying and selling slaves, like I said, is normal practice in Protean, and not all of the civilizations though in this realm believe in it though, but like the Draconians, they buy the slaves. And the reason why they buy the slaves is to do the experiments on them, and they uh, consider humans as a food source. So eating slaves after they use them up, that's also a regular practice among the Draconians.
This
Um,
is just crazy how that sounds, but okay. I'm listening, and when you said that, I was like,
Well, that
yummy.
goes
But I'm
back.
on mute.
That goes back a long way. I mean, that was the reason why V came out in the first place. Remember V? Huh? She's not there. See, okay, now, when using, now, when using humans for experimentation, though, they like to implant their slaves uh, that are deemed exceptionally fit with cybernetic implants, too. Okay, so not only are they doing genetic research on these slaves, but they're also like putting cybernetic implants into them. And besides that, some slaves, like I said, um, are used in experiments where their minds are transferred into cyborgs completely. So you've got slaves with cybernetic implants, and then you've got some that are always being where their minds are always being transferred out of their body into cyborgs, um, and the bodies stay within like stasis chambers until until the slave is revived again. So it's protected from the environment and from being harmed while the conscience of the human is within the cyborg. Now, that's what I want to put it into my story about the about the protean realms. A lot of this is going on there in the story, and I don't know how far down the line it's going to be implemented into the story because, like I said, this is just a description of the protean plane. So um, it will eventually make it in, but how I put it in, I don't know yet because I've already
But did
said.
you hear me saying I do not remember V? I apologize. I wasn't cutting you off. You were like, "Do you remember V?" I was like, "No, no, I do not." But maybe because I was walking inside the gym and I heard you say she is not there. But I was like, "I'm right here."
Yeah, you were gone for quite a while.
I was cutting out.
Now,
Yeah, I was probably
now,
cutting
what did
out.
you
But yeah,
say again?
I said
You
that.
do not remember
That
what?
I'd never heard of V. V?
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 Oh my
Yeah,
God,
I thought that's what you asked me. Do I?
you were deprived as a child. That's all I gotta say.
What?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna argue with you, but and what is this? All right, I'll look it up. I'll
Yeah,
look it up
you
in like
need to
5 minutes.
and you need to watch the first three movies of it. You can watch the series if you want to, but watch the movies at least, and it'll give you a gist of what I'm talking about. Okay, so
Link it in
this.
the chat later after the show.
Okay,
Make my life easy.
I can do that.
Thank you so
Now,
much.
some humans are also a part of experiments that deal in time travel. Okay, these
Is this only there, or you? I mean, you mean
I'm
you talking about real life too, right? Because
no,
I mean, I
no,
know that.
I'm talking about
Oh
my
no,
story. So
just your story. Got it.
yeah.
Cool.
Now
Go on a mute again.
these slaves, they're snatched from their families at early ages, like when they're young, maybe in the 6th grade or 6 years old, in like the first grade of school and stuff like that, you know. And then they're forced into a life of slavery. Um, when they have lived out their life in servitude, they're then sent back in time and their age regressed back to the age of 6 to the exact moment when they were abducted. Alright? So it's as if this whole life had taken place and then it was just reverted back to the time when they were freaking 6 years old and they just continue to live their life as a 6 year old.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Hold on. So they get snatched at 6. After they get snatched, they go and they're in slavery and in bondage and all that. But then they get returned, and then when they're returned, they're at the state in which they were 6. Do they remember what happened to them?
No.
Are you kidding me? I guess that's a good thing. But like, what about the family? Because I can imagine is the family
No, it's
aging?
like seconds after they were abducted, the
Oh,
the
come
the
on,
return
Papa.
to that point where it's as if they were never abducted at all. You see what I mean?
A little bit, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
So they get abducted and they live this entire life out, and then they are taken back to seconds just after they were abducted, and they're placed right back in that time frame.
So what are we looking at for the time frame in regards to the life lived?
That's the whole thing. They don't remember any of it, so they can live their lives out as if nothing ever happened.
Mm,
This is a concept that
I'm
I
good, Buffy.
this is a concept that I learned with ufology when it comes to the secret space program, and I wanted to incorporate that because that's a fascinating concept. It's
Even
just
when you think about Jack Carson, that was the secret space program.
yeah.
Mhm.
Now, like I said, when they lived their lives, when they were done living their lives in servitude, they're then sent back in time to the exact moment when they were abducted. They were placed exactly where they were at the moment after they were taken, just after they were taken, and their minds are erased from that moment and forward on with the life that they had previously lived. Um,
Sounds like
they're
reincarnation. And not if you starting at a different at the same point then. But go ahead, I'm listening. I'm just
they're then uh, they're then changed physically so that their bodies are transformed into that of a child, which I'd already said.
yeah.
And the weird part about it is these abductions are usually carried out by humans and not the draconians. Okay, because um, the humans are the ones who deliver the slaves to the draconians most of the time. It's usually slave traders, people who are working on the black market and stuff like that. Um,
Mm.
because the Federation, they don't condone trading with the draconians, so they have to do it behind the scenes
Yeah.
on the black market. So we got uh, that covered, and now I want to go farther into the cyborgs. Okay, now these
Okay.
cyborgs,
Oh, I saw. Never mind.
these cy-
Cyborg was so raw. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I
now these
apologize. I just
cyborgs,
saw cyborgs.
though, that they're used by the draconians in order to do their dirty work. Even though these slaves are abducted by humans, they are used by the draconians to do their dirty work, on their behalf. So instead of attacking human outposts and out of the way planets themselves, draconians send cyborgs to do it for them. They also extend the services of human cyborgs to uh, to warlords and slavers and space pirate allies who are human and working in the black market. And the reason why they do this is to demoralize the Trade Federation's influence. The Draconians supply their enemies with resources, and they fight the Federation for them instead of them having to do it themselves. So that's the reason why they do all of that with the humans, is just so they can destabilize the Federation's influence. Now, most of the planets on within Protean consist of civilizations that don't even venture into space. They know nothing of what's taking place outside of their own world until these overlords and slavers and criminals invade their planet, and they take all the resources they can, and they leave the planet barren, basically. And this is usually the way of life for most in this area, and that especially in the far outer reach of the realms. And a lot of the people who are within inner inner part of the realms for this plane. They don't even venture there. It's just like I said, they consider it the wasteland.
So it's barren and nothing grows, and then it's
Well,
just yeah.
it's just so ruthless. You know what I mean?
Wait, when you say ruthless, like mind you, you're talking to me about people that like kill and like have a thirst for blood. Are we talking about there's a lot of killing stuff going on, or do we just feel like it's
Everything.
desolate?
There's lizards eating people.
Okay, that's crazy. How big are these lizards?
The draconians, like like I told you about the other day. Remember about the Mothman? How he's got the wings and everything, and that's a freaking Draco Prime right there. That's the leader of the Dracos. I'll get into that later on. Now,
Okay.
after that, I'm gonna start describing to you the cardinal realm. Okay. Now, the cardinal realm is the final uh, realm before you make it into the darker realms where the draconians rule. And the cardinal realm is primal. It's very primal, and it's the majority of the planets and everything, and the surroundings is, you know, on each planet is usually jungles, and this is where the underworld inhabitants that we were talking about live, and they live in desolate cave systems. Uh, the the planets themselves are pretty beautiful, you know, when you look at it at first sight. But
Are there things like flowers or and like life like does it look
yep,
like
yep,
greenery and stuff?
yep. But
Oh,
see,
that's pretty. I have
there's a dark environment involved into it. It's a lot more. It's a lot more. How can I say it? It's a lot
intricate
more
than what I'm
deceiving.
seeing it as.
It's
Yeah.
more deceiving than what
Oh,
it is anything
deceiving.
else. You know, like
So
you
it
look
looks
at,
like it's really pretty, but it's not.
yeah. Once you get there, the environment actually changes, and like fog fills, you know, the valleys, and the jungle rises up so high into the air that it becomes utterly dark on the ground. You know, uh,
Does it? Does it? Is it meant to allure and then to repel, or
it. Imagine
to
a
devour?
jungle. Imagine a jungle that is so primal that it freaking. You take chances of being eaten by the freaking plants. Okay. Animals, plants, every beast imaginable in these worlds are dangerous. Okay. Vines that lay on the ground are carnivorous and have a habit of eating anything that comes within their grasp. Both humans and Draco always fight constantly there, because you got to remember they're still Draco, they're still humans. You know what I'm saying? But all of them are pretty much primal, as in tribal, and that's the way of life for most of them there. So the Dracos, they still use freaking humans as slaves and for food supplies. Most of the Dracos that travel to this plane that are from other planes and have space capabilities, they come here to buy human slaves for genetic experiments and cybernetics also, because this is the easiest place to get them. You know what I mean? Because it's farther away from the high heavens of Lycia.
Wait, wait. What did you said? Oh.
This is the plane where most of the humans are taken in as slaves too, because
Yeah, but you called them the Dracos.
yeah, the Dracos is what I'm saying. Like the Dracos actually actively take humans as their slaves on this plane of existence, because It's more primal, and they can do it easier because it's farther away from the high heavens of Lycia. You know, because you got Protean too that's in between the cardinal planes and the high heavens of Lycia. So there's a gap there between, you know, so it's easier for them to get away with this stuff. And then they also have native Dracos that were born and raised in this plane of existence that practice the same thing. You know,
I'm looking up Dracos. I hear you, but
well, the food
yes.
supply and the food supplies and using them as slaves too. They do that, but like the native Dracos, they aren't really capable of genetic experiments and stuff like that. Now they do things like make their own poisons and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
How they do that? What do they use for that?
They use
Not from.
they use natural resources.
But I mean, like, so is their planet like our planet, or like if I was to picture what it looks like? And I know you say it's worse because there's a lot of crime. There's a lot
Imagine
of
planets that are beautiful, but the plants and all the life on the planets have the capability of killing. Okay.
Oh wow. Like what Venus flytraps but worse.
Yeah, and like if you're flying over it, you'll see this beautiful freaking jungle, freaking atmosphere on a planet, but when you freaking go to land, all of a sudden everything's dark because there's so much jungle. Light can't make it through freaking tops of the trees, so everything down below is just complete darkness.
Mm. This is so overgrown. I can see what you mean.
Mm-hmm. Now, obsessed with creating a genetically compatible race with their own, uh, uh, is what the Draco's main goal is, okay? They have this obsession with creating a genetically compatible race with their own. And they searched out all over to find that compatible race until they finally found humans. And they found out that humans are the perfect subjects when it comes to these experiments and trying to blend the Draco in with humans is what they're obsessed with. Okay, it's become their like number one force. Their number one goal is to freaking create uh, a race of humans mixed with draconian. So that is where we get into what I was talking about. The Draco's real goal is. Okay, it's not to destroy and obliterate the human race and just use them up as a food source, but they want to actually blend themselves into the human race and create a human Draco uh, being. Um, Now,
I'm
they
listening.
they the slavers usually send out search parties on a regular basis. They send them out into the wild to search for humans, and the Dracos usually pin humans up in pens so that they can trade them off and ship them off to where they need to go to be traded on the slave in the slave trade because human slaves have become a commodity to them.
I had a question, but it's just really off topic.
And remember, this isn't just Dracos either. Like humans do the same thing to their own kind with slaves.
Have you heard that the British people are actually Germans? Have you heard this before?
Well, yeah, I
The
mean,
British royal family?
the you have to go back to the Welsh. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to get technical, all of them are pretty much connected through the whole Welsh society that took place in that region.
Yeah. Okay. You can go back to the story. I just had to ask that question because the research that I'm doing now, based off what we're talking about now, just led me down that rabbit hole. And I just was asking if you had ever heard of it. That's all.
And like I said, humans also practice this too. The thing too is the dominant gender or the dominant the dominant
What do you mean,
no
race?
the
The dominant
dominant gender
species?
of the human race is female. Okay, and most of most of the females in this cardinal realm don't hold any value for men other than reproduction. They also use them, you know, in battle against draconians as cannon fodder.
Oh, you
Um,
mean the men are not of significance to the women except for reproduction
right.
in order to be
That or working freaking mines, doing stuff like that, going off and fighting in battles uh, for for the women until they're not useful anymore. And then there's reproduction. Um, these women are all freaking warrior women. They're tribal in nature, and they're even though they're tribal, they are able to use modern forms of weapons and transport. So don't get me wrong, they're not like stupid. They're if they have the ability to freaking get something that allows them to travel off world, they can learn how to use it. Um, but they don't like taking Dracos as slaves. They they hate the Dracos religiously, and whenever they
and is that because of their nature?
um, I'm incorporating the Vega into this story because the Vegas had a bad experience according to ufologists when it came to the Draco in ufology. They were freaking experimented on, and they finally were able to escape from the Draco. This is according to ufology. And when they escaped from them, they you get two stories. You get one side of ufology that says that they became peaceful, really peaceful people, but then you get another one that says that they become a rebellious, rebel force against the Draco, and they fight them as much as possible. So I made I made these women kind of like them with a combination of the Scourge Maiden off of Forgotten Realms, the RPG game that I was telling you about before.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so like they're these crazy, badass, evil women who
Mm-hmm.
just basically rather kill a Draco. They'd have sex with men, but they don't want nothing to do with a Draco. They don't even want to have them as slaves. They just if they're in battle with them, they kill them. They don't even take them prisoner. So that's how much hate they have for them. The only good Draco is a dead one, so they execute them on sight basically. And now, once we get through all that, I'll talk about Under the Jungles and the cave systems. Now, under the jungles are cave systems, and these caves, and now in these caves, many humans live there, and they go above ground only to hunt, replenish their supplies, and gather slaves and fight the Draconians. That's all they do. Like I said, they practice slavery too. And it's always humans. It's never Draco because they don't like them. They'd just rather kill them. The majority of or the dominant gender in the human species here is the female, and they're the ones in charge. Okay.
And that's where Tatiana's from. Or
Yeah.
Tiana.
She's from
Yeah.
this. She's from this realm. But
Okie dokie.
I've got it even more precise with. Well, not later on. I'm going to be implementing some stuff in my story, which will kind of explain that. But I haven't written it down yet. I'm wanting to make it because, like I said, she's really a complicated character. So I'm working it through there. It's gonna be good. Don't get me wrong, but I think I'm on a good idea with her. She's got a good one, but a lot of the stuff I had to make sense. You know what I mean? And I think I've gotten past that. So the rest of it should be easy to do. Now, if an opportunity presents itself to look up at the sky, a person looks up at a gray haze. It's almost a black view from above. The stars seem small, and most of them can only be seen at night. All right, that's how congested everything is there. You know what I mean? Because of the jungle surroundings and stuff like that. Now, both humans and Dracos do travel among the stars. The humans understand the concept of space travel, but the humans do understand the concept. Don't get me wrong, but they've been known to steal Draco technology in order to do so, in order to travel among the stars. They haven't.
The Dracos more advanced.
Yeah, in the cardinal realms, they're more advanced than what humans are. But humans have learned that they can steal their technology and travel among the stars like the Draco do. Not only that, but they also develop their own network within space, and after they developed their network, they started taking their fight against Draco into space as well. So not only do they fight them on these worlds, but they also fight them in space with technology that they steal from the Draco. Some of them are able to travel from their planes of existence to others too, you know, within other planes of existence.
What gives them that permission?
Well,
is it just the ability and the power, or
it's it's all according to how well they develop. You know what I'm saying? Like you're looking at a primal realm that basically is determined by how only the strongest survive. You know what I mean? Survival of the fittest.
Mm-hmm.
So,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? They're not thinking on the lines of how intelligent you are. They're thinking on, well, actually intelligence is important, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Okay,
because they have to be able to develop.
But it's more of like say you fall behind, okay? You become a weakness. They'd rather kill you than freaking help you. And take
Well, that's just with anyone.
And just take all your shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's their mentality. You carry your own load or you die, basically. It's very brutal, you know. And it's because of the way their environment is and this, you know what I mean, and the societies that are around them. And these are people that have freaking technology. They have what you'd consider magic, but like I said in the story, I don't want to distinguish between technology and magic. You know what I mean? I want it to kind of blend in together.
Is it not already? But yeah.
Right. Now, I've covered that, and this is where I get a little bit more specific. It's just about one planet and this planet is called Lucius. Okay, now
My grandfather's name was Lycia.
what is it?
Well, he's not my real grandfather. It was a fake grandfather. It was the one that was staged because my whole life is a movie type thing. Not even joking. But yeah, his name was Lucius. Go ahead.
Okay, Lucius is an unforgiving planet with a solar system that contains two binary stars. The result of a binary solar system causes intense weather and strong gravity on Lucius. Being on this planet, beings on this planet are stronger, acquiring extraordinary strength in environments of less gravity than their own. So, like, on their planet, they'd be ordinary people, but, like, if they went to another planet with less gravity, they'd be extremely freaking strong. Okay? And, on Lucius, storms decimate the planet's surface, and electrical storms travel constantly in its atmospheres. All creatures are forced underground because of the harsh environment above. Now, on this planet, there's the Sisterians, and the Sisterians are humans who reject technology altogether and are also unable to use it. Besides rejecting it, they just can't use it. Um, how much power society has on in this world, though, even though they reject it, is determined by how much technology it has. Now, these are the people who aren't Sisterians that that we're talking about. Like, you have the Sisterians, and then you have these people who determine how powerful they are by how much technology they acquire. And these people also travel among the stars, to far off galaxies, and they explore, they mine resources, and they also plunder. There's space pirates everywhere, as well as mining colonies. They're established all throughout the far edges of space. Now, on Lucius, mining is one of the main sources of living among these people.
Mining.
Yeah, mining.
Mm-hmm.
The constant struggle between humans and the Draconians over mining colonies take place. Also, neither of the
Mining
two
for?
mining for resources of all kinds.
So like, okay. I
Yeah.
was just wondering whether anything specific, like is it crystals, it was something, but okay, everything. I got you.
Now, um, neither one of them, the humans or the Draco, are willing to negotiate any kind of agreement between the two of them. So there's always um, uh, fighting going on. Okay, so with Lucius, they deal with the Trade Federation. Um, the Trade Federation for Lucius is the closest thing to law, and that's because of where they're located. They're in far regions of freaking space. You know what I mean? And if anybody breaks their law, death is the only sentence. There's nothing like prison or anything like that.
Yeah, boy.
Like, you break any
Mm,
of their laws, you just get put to death. That's it.
I love it. I was just talking about a society like that, like literally earlier today.
Hmm. Now, humans are hunted down and then they're enslaved, as usual, and
But
they're forced into a life of hard labor, and this is both humans
why
and
would they even go there?
huh?
Why would
Well,
they even go there? Me-
they're born there and raised there. I mean,
Oh, so then when they're found, okay, I got you.
yeah, you know what I mean.
They're
It's like,
forced into slavery.
um, and this goes for both humans and draconians alike. I mean, on this planet, the Dracos are treated just as bad as what the humans are by their own people, and by the opposite, they're they're forced into a life of hard labor. Um, Now, especially in this world, it's a matter of survival, and that's it, nothing more. There's uh, no meaning in what I was talking about between the power of light and darkness. Like they don't, like everybody, you know how I was telling you, and I don't want good or evil being a part of this. I want it to be, the power of darkness, the power of light. Like
Yes.
that's not even a part of the equation here. It's just a
So
matter.
darkness does not exist. It's just a lower frequency of light. So there's really no such thing as darkness. But yes, yes, yes. I
The
understand what you're saying.
the whole thing for them is just it's a matter of survival and nothing else. I mean, that's it. Um, uh, now, the the things that they see is not hospitable in these people's minds, nor is it cruel. And the reason why they see it this way is because everything's basically miserable. It's a miserable life, miserable existence. And the only way that uh, it's not miserable is if you have more resources than the rest of the people.
And that's what turns them savage.
And then when you have the resources, you have to fight in order to keep those resources for yourself. So,
Right, because you can get robbed.
right, they can kill you. Wait till you fall asleep
Yeah,
and cut your
and
throat.
then rob you. Kill
Mm-hmm.
you and then rob you. I mean,
Now,
ultimately, they're going to take it from you if they feel like you're bragging. Just,
right.
if you have more than them, they want to come get it. I got you. No, trust me. I got you.
Now, Lucius is versatile with different varieties of beings, cultures, and technologies. Some don't have any technologies at all, while others can harness the power of their mind with the utterance of words. Just by saying a
Good shit.
word, just by saying a word,
Okay.
they can utter freaking power. And
And
some,
have people in a trance and have people completely submissive and have, full compliance. I can only imagine that type of power.
and then there's some people who are primitive with no abilities at all, and some who use technology to take care of themselves. So it's very versatile. The primitive societies are the ones who usually are forced into a life of slavery, while the society with technologies are the ones who rule over the slaves, which that's basically the way it goes in any society.
It is not, yeah, right, exactly.
Uh, food and
People are
ration,
become a slave to society.
yeah, food and rations are scarce. So if you aren't a slave, you're most likely scavenging, looking for looking for something to eat. So uh, that is Lucius. That's going to be a very important planet in my stories that eventually I'm going to be using when I incorporate it into it. None of this has been written down yet, but I've been making notes of it, and these are what's I'm coming up to. So now I wanted to get more into Ob2. Okay, I told you about Ob2, and
Yes.
he's the first draconian that's introduced into my story. Now, Obtuse has slanted eyes that curl around his head. Um, he's almost looking sideways, it seems. You know what I'm saying? And his pupils are snake-like instead of round, like that of human eyes. Now,
Yeah.
his eyes also glow red in the darkness, and the only resemblance to humans that he has is the fact that he has two legs. That's it. Now,
Oh,
Obtu,
wow.
yeah, Obtu doesn't have any hair, being draconian and a serpent. He has tough skin with scales instead. Tough skin to protect himself against things in his environment that would harm him, and scales to go with him. Scales would be the equivalents of hair, basically, for a reptilian. And I'm wanting to incorporate some of the things that I've done research on when it comes to reptiles in our world and the scales and how they work. Like, you have different kinds of scales. There's not just one kind of scale. when it comes to reptiles. So I want to kind of incorporate that into the Draconians. He also stands about 8 feet tall and has claws for fingers and toes. Now, Abtu is a priest who worships his Nuttl Noctl. Now, I'll get into what Nuttl Noctl is here in a minute. But Draconians do not believe in gods. They do, though, worship the ones they believe are more powerful than they are, like any beings or people, whatever, that they feel is more powerful than they are. They do worship those. Um, this is also rare too, because most Draconians don't believe that any race or being is above them. So, like, they are the top of the food chain. They are the top of the line, the supreme race. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody better than them. They don't believe in gods because there's no god that would be better than a Draco. You see? So that's the way they believe. Now, Abtu practices fine art. He practices the fine art of poison making, genetics, and he also worships Nuttl Noctl, like I said. And Nuttl Noctl is the serpent warrior. Now, his desire is to bring all beings into the genetic composition of the reptilian race, and that's what drives Abtu. He believes that through chemistry, he is able to trap his. No, wait. Basically, the best way of saying it is through chemistry, he's been able to trap his victims within their own mind, and that's where Soma comes from. That I was explaining to you, the drug. It basically traps them within their own mind, causing them to obey his every command. So they're literally trapped within their mind, and whenever he tells them to do something, their bodies do it, and they have no resistance to it whatsoever. And that's what the effects of this drug is. And Abtu is a master alchemist. Now, this is where I get into the Soma. Now, with the use of Soma, Abtu has developed a reputation for himself as well as a following. Okay, so not only is he good at doing this stuff, but he's created his own following. Though he's proficient in alchemy, his great passion is genetics. So not only is he good at alchemy, but he's also good at genetics. And like I said, his goal is to combine the gene pool of the Draconians with that of humans. Through channels of the less respected within the realms of the known planes of existence, Abtu has created networks among the slavers, traders, and merchants, and planets, and he plans to venture into Lycia. This is when he plans to convert humans to what is known as tainted, and half reptilian, half human. So they're known as the tainted. I might change that to another name, but I believe the tainted is pretty good for right now. But I wanted to kind of give it an offset name because, as you've noticed, I've kind of given weird names to all my characters too. So, like Abtu, you know.
Yeah.
I want to try to make it as unearthly as possible, and that's what I want to do. I want to work with getting the names and everything off there, make it more original. Now, Abtu, being native to a dark environment, has extremely good eyesight and sees what most beings can't. This isn't any unnatural ability, though. Most Draco from the darkened planes of existence can see extraordinarily well, because they're raised in the dark realms of the um, serpentine planes, or that he was at least. Without wings, that's the one thing Obtu has going against him. Now, he didn't have wings, so he was looked down upon by his own kind, and he was shunned by, as a child. So he had to prove himself, because it was important for Draco within the Serpentine Plains to have wings, and this would be the equivalence of the Draco Prime in ufology that I was talking about earlier. So he was basically looked down upon because he didn't have wings, and all the other ones did have wings, and your wings were what gave you respect among these types of Draco. So
He had to display them outwardly, or was it something that you could just see? Like, okay, gang members, they don't have to flag once they get to a certain level of rank, but they can assert themselves with certain symbols and certain mannerisms. The same with like the Masons and different other secret societies. So was it something like you have your wings? Was it something that people saw on you, or is it something in the way you carried yourself?
No, I mean they literally have wings. Like,
Okay.
they
Like big flapping wings. I got you.
yeah,
Yeah,
they literally have wings. So they're tall. And they've got wings on them, and he was born without wings, which made him kind of like an outcast in his society. So he had to literally prove himself all through his life, so that he could kind of grow in the ranks. You know what I mean? Go up, and that's what he did. He started learning genetics and freaking alchemy, and he developed in those areas, and he became real powerful because of it. Though he didn't have wings, he could still see in the darkness and was very keen to the practice of self-awareness. This is what made him unique too. He was he practiced the arts of meditation, and
What
eventually
was his name? Can you?
Obtu,
Oh,
OBT,
this is still up to. Okay, okay. I
yeah,
already have. Okay.
and eventually he became a priest in the order that he is now a part of, which is called Nuttall Noctil, named after a long ago hero who developed the ideas that most of the Draco practice today.
Noctil.
Yeah, Nuttall Noctil.
Noctil.
And now we come to Nuttall Noctil. I'm sure you want to know what Nuttall Noctil is. It is said that Nuttall Noctil came from a far off land, and there is known information of where the land once was. There is no known information of where that land once was. There is also no known knowledge of Nuttall Noctil's race either, only that he was not a Draco. Nuttall Noctil was born from a far off place who earned his rightful place in the history of the Draconian race. He was a warrior, the one who raised the Draco from the bowels of darkness and pools of primordial ooze, created the race that is known today. Before Nuttall Noctil, the Draconians were nothing more than the average reptilians that the Draco now use for a food source, which that's what they do. They also eat themselves. They have no problem with cannibalism.
Jesus. Eat
So
themselves?
yeah,
Eat their kind.
they eat their kind. If, especially if they don't have the type of Draco that Optu is, they're like the higher ups in the hierarchy, so they have no problem with eating a lesser Draco. Even they're okay with it. So combining his gene with that of the Draco, the Draconian can gain knowledge and understanding of the universe. Tactics, strategy, planning, all are contributions of Netzalnatl, but his warrior status raises above all other achievements. No, wait. So what he did is he combined his gene with that of the Draco. So he took his own gene out of his body and he combined it with the Draconians, who gained knowledge and understanding of the universe. So all of a sudden they gained knowledge and they were aware instead of being primordial.
Did that make them okay? So did that make them indebted to him so that he becomes their leader type thing?
He became basically their creator, but he was a regular being, even though they don't know what race he was or where he came from. They know that he was there, and that he combined his gene with the Draco, and from that point on, the Draconians gained knowledge and understandings of the universe and began to develop. They learned tactics, strategy, planning, and they're all contributions from Netzalnatl. But other than all that, his warrior status rises above all the other achievements he made in his journeys. Netzalnatl conquered the ones who wished to challenge him, bringing them into his fold with open arms. So he basically defeated his enemies and he allowed them into his fold so that they became a part of his following. Instead of destroying them and decimating everything, he used his battle, or his, if he had to go to war with them, he'd rather make them his allies rather than freaking destroy them. And I took that off of what the Persians did, especially. They did that in ancient history. They would rather you be their allies, and they would defeat their enemies, and they would bring their kings in and make them higher ups in the Persian government. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than destroy them, make them allies. That's where I kind of got the idea for that one from.
It'd probably be a better idea than as opposed to making more enemies. Well, there's no enemies. See, I'm using the wrong terminology, but then it just gets too deep for your show. But it's just like, well, for right now anyway. But it's just no, it makes sense to where if you could
He
have
was the
had a
one.
problem,
He was the
make
one
it
who
not a
taught the
problem.
Dracos how to use subterfuge. Okay, the
How do
art.
you what?
How to use subterfuge, the art of deceit in order to achieve one's goals. You know, um,
How do
his
you spell that?
subterfuge. It's
Mm-hmm.
SUBTERFUGE. Now his goal was clear. It was to expand his reach into the outmost parts of the known realms of existence, bringing everyone and everything under his control. It was said that Netzalnatl was immense in size and had eyes that glowed a bright blue. His skin glowed bright, his hair was filled with flame, and his words could destroy mountains with a single syllable. And right now, that is all I have when it comes to Netzalnatl. So what do you think so far?
I'm interested. I'd like you to read some to me. But I mean, you told me about the lands and you told me about the different planets. But next to Nacho is a person, but Lucifer, Heradian. I feel like I'm missing one. Isn't there a different plane too besides that?
Oh, there's the darker planes, but
It's the Lucifer.
that's gonna
We
be
haven't gotten to that yet.
yeah, that's gonna be the that's gonna be in the next short stories concerning the Draco. Yeah.
And and Palladian, the Palladian plane is where the bushes. I mean, the no, where the forest is too big, and then it's like looks real pretty to go there. But when you get there, you realize it's just like deathly type. Or was that the Lucius? I said Lucifer, Lucius one.
Um, Here, let me. That was gotta pull it back up. I went through all of them and then I turned around and closed them out, which I
Cause
shouldn't have
no,
done.
I was about to say it's okay. I don't
I'm
want to put you
fine.
out.
I've got it. All I gotta do is go to location. Now that is let me go ahead and pull it up. Now that is I've got it. Now that is the Cardinal Plains.
Cardinal, so it's
Cardinal.
Cardinal Lucius. Okay, Cardinal Lucius, and then the
Lycia.
Palladian.
Lycia is the entire kingdom that's ruled by Zuthra. And
Lycia is the kingdom, but Lucius is the plane. Because, like I said, I had a grandfather. His name was Lucius.
no,
So I was just,
Lucius is a planet.
oh, it's a planet. It's not a plane.
Yeah. No, the
Oh,
planet is within the cardinal planes.
I see now.
Well, you could also make. I could also make it into the Protean planes. It could fit in there too because it's got the federation. So I can make it into Protean. I think I could. It'd probably work out better there too. But the high heavens of Lycia, I've covered, and then I've covered Protean, and then the Cardinals, and Cardinal planes of existence within Lycia. And then after that, I'm gonna start covering the other three planes of existence, and those will concern the Dracos. So I can get that. Done
Are
too.
you reading? You sound distracted. Are you about to read to me now?
I I'm just going through. I wanted to make sure I knew what I was looking at here. And then
Okay.
like I need to go back through and I need to like write out some more stuff on like the draconian meditation. I'm also wanting to talk about the primordial ooze that I was referring to with the Draco.
It's the slime.
Well, I'm wanting to
Yeah, I
bring
heard you. The ooze.
the Egyptians basically had this belief about the primordial ooze, and I want to kind of incorporate that into my story with the Draco and their creation story. So, and then I want to get more in depth with the reptilian gene, and like I said, I wanted to cover the reptilian scales. I've already started talking about Soma and like subterfuge and tainted ones. Those are the things I want to bring out when it comes to like write out descriptions of what those are, so that later on when I go to write out my plot and everything for them, I have that information that I could kind of look over and get my ideas from. Does that make sense?
No, very. It makes sense. But how much longer? How much more do you have before you said you were going to be finished? and you were just writing like the drafts or something. So
Well, I've got this one finished right here, and
it's done.
I've already explained everything to you. But I
That's
can
it for it.
the next one I do, I can just read the story to you.
Wait. So the next one, I'll have the whole 16 pages, not just bits and pieces and explanations leading into it. You're gonna read the whole thing.
Yeah, I'll read it all to you.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Okay.
Now,
You're not gonna read me none today then. That's why you
I
telling
got
me so that's your
I got to keep you guessing.
that's how you be nice. It's
But
like, okay, I'll read you next week.
you got like the basic gist of what's going on here. Like,
Yeah, this guy really was really greasy, and he was controlling women with their mind. He was using his mind to control women, and he was injecting like his semen, and he's making them pregnant by his mind, and he was being manipulated. And then one girl, when she found out what was happening, she was like, "Oh no, you're not about to do that to me." So she really out here looking for vengeance. She about to go get that.
yeah,
But right, I got the story right.
pretty much.
And then, okay, I cannot wait to hear it next week. I like to stay. You think I be, you think I be gassing? Like, I don't remember nothing but I just like, trust me. Okie dokie. So
But
that's what's up, then, G.
we got all that covered, and now next week I can go ahead and just read the whole story to you.
Yay! You. I'm
Then,
so
like when I
excited.
do
Thank
read
you.
it to you, if you want to stop me and talk about it, you can. Okay, so it's not
No, I want you to read it to me, and then you can take a pause maybe between. But no, I don't. I want you to. I want to just. Okay, yeah, that way, so you know I'm still here. But no, yeah, read it to me, and then like after like every 4 pages, because it's 16. So every 4 pages, we can kind of do a recap where you get to a point to where you can stop, and then we can see where I'm at. Because I don't want you to stop. I want to hear it so I can understand it. We keep stopping, and it makes it difficult. I like to just get through it. I don't like to say it like that because I'm gonna hear. You know what I'm saying? I would like to just be able to listen to it. But like every 4 pages, if I have questions, I'll have them written down or
all right.
you know.
Sounds good.
Um. So you're leaving? Okie dokie. I was talking to you. It's over for us today, right now.
Yeah. Uh, how
Okay.
long have we got now? What is? Oh wow, we're already at a hour and 22 minutes. We did a lot today.
Oh, over. Yeah. Let's
That's pretty
see.
good.
Real good. You've been doing real good with these streams. I'm excited for you. And keep going up.
Well, I will go ahead and finish this up, and we can come back. What is tomorrow's topic anyhow?
Tomorrow is Tuesday. Aren't we history? Is it
It's
history
history.
tomorrow?
Yeah, we're gonna go do history. Yeah,
Yay!
that's gonna be the
What are
good
we doing?
stuff.
I've been looking up the Phoenicians and I've been listening to the podcast you sent me. So what are we learning about tomorrow?
We'll stick with the Phoenicians. I kind of want to dab into what they were talking about with that Syrian queen. I think that's pretty
The one
fascinating
I
too.
showed you?
Well, she was in
No,
the
you're not talking
story.
about the.
Senator Nathion's mentor.
Oh, San Trinity. Okay, I got you. I got you. No, you're talking about something
Now
else.
his
Okay. I thought you were
men.
talking about that dancer lady I showed you, the German spy
Oh
who
yeah,
pretended to be an Indian dancer. Yeah, we're doing that strangeness or conspiracy. Strangeness,
yeah.
because conspiracy, we have some more stuff to finish
Yep,
on
that's
Tesla.
on a
Check
different one right there. We can cover that too. So
Okay.
we can get all that taken care of, and I'm glad that you showed up and you was a part of all of this. And I will see you next week on this topic, but I'll see you again tomorrow.
What? You'll see me tomorrow.
I'll see you
I was
tomorrow
like, what are you doing?
with this
Okie
topic.
dokie.
We'll be back on it again next week. So thank you.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm glad you're sharing. It's so cool. And I mean, like, I'm going to be here. Like, if I'm not here, you better check on me because something's not right. But yep, I got you.
Okay. I will see you later.
You better. Yeah, have a good one. Be safe.
You too.